What's up, guys? Thanks for joining for another episode of Excellence in Motion. Today's demonstrations are focused on rotational stability and unilateral strength. So what I mean by that is when we use our core, a lot of times we tend to want to balance things out if we're carrying a load or moving things from here to there, doing overhead pressing, picking things up off the ground. We tend to have that weight evenly distributed throughout the body, and we have a very focused center of movement for the spine and the core as a whole. With rotational stability, what we are looking at is the ability of our core to withstand these sort of rotational forces that can sometimes be placed on it by an offloading sort of weight, whether that be a single arm kettlebell or single arm deadlift or a single arm press. Our core now has to figure out how it's going to stabilize itself with the weight on just one side of the body and not let it sort of tip over and keep us in that midline stabilization. The first clip in this video demonstrates a single arm kettlebell deadlift. With this motion, what we're doing is we're giving ourselves an off-centered load instead of having two kettlebells like you would traditionally see with this type of movement. And as you begin to pick the weight up off the ground, now you're forcing your transverse abdominis and your internal and external obliques on the opposite side of the weight to act a little bit more than they normally would, to sort of keep you from tilting towards the weight and get you in more of an upright posture. It's more stable. It's a little bit more, it's way more effective in maintaining proper hip alignment and glute activation at the back when you reach full hip extension at the top of that deadlift. The next one is going to be a single arm kettlebell overhead press. The same principle applies. You have the weight on one side of the body, so you're very offloaded as far as that distribution is concerned. So when you go to press the weight up overhead, you now have to stabilize in the core in order to keep yourself in a good posture, but you also need to activate a little bit more of those opposite side core musculature to stabilize yourself and not let yourself fall towards the weight and keep yourself in an upright posture. The third motion is a unilateral kettlebell front squat. Very similarly to the deadlift, we're moving through a sort of squatting pattern. This time though, we're loading the kettlebell into the front of the arm, and we're sort of unbalancing ourselves by placing weight in the front and on the side and sort of forcing ourselves to have to shift our weight more towards the back and to the opposite side, keeping that core in a very straight pattern so that we don't lose that stabilization and sort of get things wonky. Each of these tools is very beneficial for your development as an athlete. It's super important for us to be able to have control over our bodies in a lot of different planes of motion and not just be linear movers. Human movement is complex, it's 3D. It goes in all different directions. It doesn't just move up and down, left and right. We also have rotation, we have diagonal patterns, we have different ways of using our body so that we can interact with the world around us. And it's super important for us to be able to try to train those things when we're in the gym so that we're better prepared for being able to tackle life and all the different things that come with that. So give these things a shot, see how they work for you, and be excellent.